Question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Sinclair, can you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until 2007 or 2008 to come forward? It's a question of credibility, sir. Why didn't you come forward back in 1999 or 2000?
Well, number one, in 1999, I really didn't care whether he was a senator from Illinois or not. To be honest with you, I wasn't a resident of Illinois. As far as why now, I was living in Mexico up until 2006. It really was of no interest to me. I know plenty of politicians, both locally and internationally, that are pretty much crooked. The whole issue was based on his drug use and his claim that he had not used drugs since his college days, and that was the whole issue that brought this forward.
Next question, sir. Are you receiving any financial support for your efforts from anyone? And if so, do any of those people have connections to the Republican Party?
I'm glad you asked that question. Number one, I am not connected with any party, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Democratic, none. Nor are anybody that are contributing to the cost and the expense of this. Every penny that has gone to pay for this press conference, my travel expenses, have come from average American citizens, most of them actually, according to their own statements, are declared independents, in the sums of from $12.31 to $100 each.
David Hutchins, the American News Project. What is Veritas Federal Media, and what role do they have in renting this venue and the camera crew in back?
The media company you just requested, what is it? It's exactly what I just answered this gentleman. It represents every individual person. It's not a company, in all honesty. It was established as an email address when I arrived here for the Democratic National Committee's bylaws and rules and bylaws. Okay, I did. Okay, it's not a company. It is nothing more than a name to represent all of the individuals across this country that have helped get this story out.
Would you be willing to share your mental health records with the public?
Actually, I'm going to post later this afternoon a list of all of my doctors, going back through all of my medical records that are available through 1999. Anyone with valid, legitimate press credentials that wants to check my mental health history, I will be more than willing to sign an authorized medical release for that purpose.
Will we get more than 30 minutes?
Huh?
More than 30 minutes?
More than 30 minutes of what?
With the documents.
Well, actually, if you're valid press and you want me to release my psychiatric records, I'll release them to you as long as you pay for them. I have nothing to hide.
Well, it was a joke. It was about McCain and the 30-minute.
Oh, sorry. You can tell where I'm at today.
Yes, Mr. Sinclair, will you state whether you had sexual relations with any other politicians here today?
Actually,
your name has come out with Senator Larry Craig.
For the record, I have not been engaged or involved with any other politician. In fact, at the time that I met Senator Obama, I had no idea that he was actually in Illinois politics. Behind you.
Why did you change your name so often?
Well, first of all, in my younger years, I was considered like, wild. And it was more out of respect to my family because, as you can see, with everyone putting my past history all over the place and mistorting it, I changed my name. The first two times I changed my name was while serving prison sentences in Florence, Arizona.
You said that he was introduced to you by name. You didn't know he was an Illinois politician. And why would he be introduced by his true name to you, and you would know that he was a politician over the years? How did you realize that it was him? I mean, because if he's going to engage in sex and drug taking and he's a renowned politician in Chicago, it strikes me as a little bit strange that they give you his real name through a limo driver. I mean, that story doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And how would you remember for 10 years when you lived away and then recognized him on TV, or how?
Okay, first of all, yes, he was introduced to me by name, okay? He was introduced to me as Barak Obama. And as far as me not knowing that he was a politician locally, I was not a resident of Illinois. When I became aware of exactly who he was when he gave the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004 while I was living in Mexico watching it on Sky TV. No, I did not say that. I told you he was, in fact, introduced to me by name. I have always stated that he was introduced to me as Barack Obama by the driver and by Barack Obama himself, sir. Always.
Hey, Larry, how much did this whole event cost you? And what are you doing now for a living?
Well, as far as anybody wanting to know the final expenses, I would have to check because I've had a few things changed in the last 24 hours. But as of Monday morning, I think it came to a total of $4,126.89. And what I do for a living, I am disabled permanently due to severe nerve damage and spinal injuries. And believe me, it's killing me standing up here this long, but I'll take the question anyway.
Jim Malone with Voice of America. Given your criminal record, the fact that the crimes that you've been involved in involve deceit and fraud, why is it that you think that anyone would believe what you're saying now?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not so much whether you believe me or not as much as you hear me. Okay? I mean, it's not my intention to convince you. First of all, I'm not going to defend my lifestyle for the last 46 years. I've made mistakes. But I've always admitted to anything I've done, including these crimes. Okay? I can't tell you why to believe me other than the fact, I'm not saying believe me. I'm saying, you know what, here's the information. Look at it, do your own research, but do it based on the facts. Stop doing it based on this constant misinformation and misrepresentation that's been circulating on the internet. I'm going to give you everything in writing and you make your own decision.
What time did you meet him on November 6th, and what time did he arrive at your hotel in Gurney the day following?
We met in the early evening on November 6th. As far as a specific time on November 7th, I cannot provide that to you. And I know where that question's coming from, but I cannot provide that to you.
You know where it's coming from.
Thank you.
How, when, and where did you incur this permanent disabling nerve and spinal injury?
Sacramento, California. Injuries from October of 2000 through August of 2001 while employed with B&G Delivery Systems on Harris Avenue in Sacramento, California.
And what is your source of income now? Is that
my source of income?
Compensation?
My source of income is disability, Social Security disability.
That's your sole source of income?
That is.
We all recall the claims and counterclaims and what happened with the Clinton allegations vis-a-vis Monica Lewinsky. Can you offer any physical evidence, any identifying physical features and so on that can support your claims?
I have already announced that I would identify certain physical features, but I will not do it at this time. It will be posted later at the advice of my attorney after we've discussed the specifics.
One quick one, and then one slightly longer one. Did you save any of the text messages?
The text messages, I've contacted Sprint Nextel, and the changing of the phone numbers, they actually have the procedures that they can recover the text messages from those numbers, but they do not stay on the phone when the numbers are changed.
And then when you were discussing the results of your polygraph, you first impugned the veracity of the test by saying that it was, quote, junk science. But then a few moments later, you said you scored very well in one respect. So it's unclear whether or not you actually are staking some of your claims on the polygraph.
No, actually, as far as I'm concerned about the polygraph, I'm not saying that it's good or it's